Generation 2 reminds me of my buddy Blunder. You're either the GOAT, you're on top of the world, you're the best, or you are straight garbage. Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here. Today we're going to be talking about Gen 2 Pokemon that need buffs, and there are a lot of Generation 2 Pokemon. You have some of the best Pokemon ever, right? Like Tyranitar, like Skarmory, and then you get Dunsparce and Furret. And yeah, it just keeps going. So if you guys do enjoy these types of videos and also want to check out my previous ones, I've done this for a few other generations like Generation 7 and 8, and I think I did 6 as well, and there's some other one there that I might have done as well. Feel free to check them out. Also feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what Generation 2 Pokemon that you want to buff. And though you do see Home Depot back there, that's just because I'm moving. This video is actually not sponsored by Home Depot. However, this video is sponsored by Legendino. You can download this game for free down below and use coupon code DINOGIF, which will give you 300 gemstones and 40 dino feeds. I absolutely love dinosaurs, and I'm a big fan of competing with others and playing games with other people. That's probably why I like Pokemon so much. And Dino Game is just that. It's a real-time battle game that you can play with others all around the world. There are a bunch of random skills depending on the dinos, and maybe if you're a more aggressive player, you can play a more aggressive combat style, but also if defense is your thing, you can pick a dino just for that. With over 100 different species that you can collect, nurture, raise, and even evolve, you're bound to find something that you like. And of course, for first time account creations, you get 50,000 gold, 1,000 gemstones, 100 in dino food, which is the way they level up, as well as a 4-star Mag Junior, which is a fire type dino. And the more you play and the more you show up, the more rewards you can get. So you can use my coupon code DINOGIFT and download Legendino via my link down below. Enjoy the rest of the video. So thank you Legendino for the sponsor, but you guys came here for some Pokemon, and that's exactly what I'm going to give you. We're about to go through the Gen 2 Pokemon that need them buffs. Now, Generation 2 has a lot of Pokemon that need buffs, I'll be completely honest, and I definitely left some out here. But that's for you guys to leave comments on and really just talk about it, because it's always more fun to see what other people have to say. But let's start off with the starter Meganium. Now, for those that might know me, I do not like Meganium. Meganium is my least favorite starter. It's also one of the worst competitively ever, and I'm going all the way from Generation 2 all the way to Generation 8. I'm going through all side metagames and everything. Even though this is from a 6v6 OU perspective, I've seen what Meganium can do, and it is not much. Now, a lot of that has to do with its stat distribution, kinda, but I think it mainly has to do with the fact that it's pure grass. At least Venusaur, which has very similar stats, it just has like its special attack swapped with one of them's like, basically they have like the exact same stats, but I think special attack is swapped with special defense or defense. It's one of those when it comes to Venusaur. But Meganium could be a lot better with a secondary typing. Now, the two typings that came to mind were both Fairy and Dragon. I ended up going with Dragon simply because it looks like Littlefoot from Land Before Time. And when I think of dinosaurs, I also think of Dragon. So I'm going to give it part Dragon. And I also think that Dragon would be a little bit better for Meganium just because it gives it some sort of use over, like, let's say a Venusaur, right? Because Mega Venusaur, for instance, has Thick Fat. But when you give Meganium part Dragon typing, it means it's neutral to fire instead of super effective, so it's like its own little, own little help for that. Obviously, it does raise its weakness to ice and gives it a few other weaknesses as well. But in terms of resisting fire and a few other ones as well, like better versus water, I think it would help Meganium's utility. And I also want to give it Recover. Now, the reason I want to give it Recover is because we also have two other, well, we have a few other, but we have two other that I'm thinking about, which are Appleton and Flapple Grass Dragons. Of course, like I said, I know we have more, but I want to give it Recover because Appleton gets Recover. Now, Appleton would be sort of similar to Meganium. Obviously, it has more HP, though, and is bulkier and has thick fat, right? But the thing that Appleton can't do that Meganium can is go for Swords Dance. So what I want to do is I want to give it Recover just to have that extra recovery, since you'll be able to come in multiple times on either fire types or Pokemon, well, obviously like water types and electric types and all that stuff coming out, because you're resisting it by 4 times at these points, right? Or neutral to fire. But being able to Swords Dance to Recover and then really just use that that defensive typing, but it already has Dragon Tail as well. I would give it, and it has Outrage, I would give it a better Dragon Stab too, but it's really hard to give it a Dragon Stab that I like, right? I think Scale Shot doesn't make sense too much on this Pokemon. I don't really see scales when it comes to it. And maybe they'd give it Dragon Claw, though it doesn't really have claw. It has little feet. But I like Recover a lot because, again, that defensive utility and being able to be a cleric, which is something that Appleton cannot do. So with that aromatherapy, I think this will buff Meganium's usage a lot. I'm not going to buff its stats. Again, I don't want to give it too many of a stat increase. Maybe because I just don't like Meganium, and I definitely did buff Typhlosion stats as well, as you guys can see right there. But I think Recover and aromatherapy would really just make it different than like Venusaur and stuff like that. Because it already has recovery and synthesis, but recovery is just better recovery, period, because it's more. And I think it can make way more use of the counter set with this type of thing as well, and even give it like a dragon type attack at that. But again, what it could do differently from Flapple and from Appleton is that Swords Dance, which it already has. Like a Swords Dance Recover set with maybe Earthquake plus Grass Move, or Dragon Move plus Grass Move, plus like pair it with like a Magnezone. I could see it doing something that'd be all really annoying, especially if you look at the current OU tier. There's a few Pokemon that this Pokemon could just straight up annoy. Like, you're faster than Heatran, so a Swords Dance Earthquake set would be enough for that, right? You always come in on a pout on it, you don't really care, and you're even checking like Rillaboom, right? Except for U-turn, but you're checking Rillaboom for the most part. You're destroying the Slowbros and Slowking family over there, and you know, I think it'd just be really cool to see something like that. So I think they have buffed Meganium a bit. Let's go over to Typhlosion. I like Typhlosion a lot. I usually pick the Fire Starter when I play through Generation 2, and there's two things I really want to give it. One is Earth Power. I think they should have Earth Power or Scorching Sands. I'm leaning more towards Earth Power. Also, it should have its Fire out always. Like, this sprite is just, or this artwork is just pathetic. Like, this 3D model is pathetic. Just have its Fire out always. Don't make this thing worse looking when it's one of the coolest Pokemon ever, especially in the anime. Like, the way it looks, it's in the Qwilfish. I think they're just such a cool pair. Earth Power is something I want to give it. It already has Focus Blast, and it obviously, the standard Typhlosion set is like Eruption, Flamethrower, or Fire Blast, right? It's Choice Scarf for choice specs. And then if you're on Sun, you have Solar Beam, or without Sun, and when there was Hidden Power, you had Hidden Power, Grass usually, or Electric. And then your last move was Focus Blast. Focus Blast is still fine, but I want Earth Power. I want it to be able to hit Toxapex for super effective damage and be able to 2-hit KO it. And actually, that's why I'm buffing its special attack from 109 to base 115. Now, I'm buffing it from 109 to base 115, and I'm taking it from its attack stat. Some people said, why don't I ever do that? I mean, like, sure, like, okay, I can take the 6 from its attack if you want that, so whatever. Because it allows it to 2-hit KO defensive Toxapex with Specs Eruption, always with Stealth Rock or Spike, like always. It does like 49% minimum, so Stealth Rock Spike, it's a 2-hit KO. So I think that would buff its viability in higher tiers as well. It has a good speed tier at base 100, and I say it's good because if you look at current Sword and Shield, you have Pokemon, the very relevant Pokemon, right? Tapu Lele or Shifu, all slower than base 100. And just being able to fire off those eruptions, but also threaten something like Heatran with an Earth Power, which is way better than threatening with Focus Blast, right? Heatran will stand on Focus Blast. Earth Power, though, will melt Heatran. So I think that'll really buff Typhlosion, and also just even in lower tiers, man, like something like Lanturn, for instance. Typhlosion is usually in a tier where Lanturn is, like they generally in that NU, PU, whatever, and that's a pretty decent check to it. Not anymore. Now we're Earth Power, especially with Spec. So that's how I buff Typhlosion. Let me know how you would too. I really like Ledian. I really like Ledian like a lot. I am like, even when I play through Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, I make sure I catch the Shadow Ledba and use Ledian on my team, even though it's completely useless and does nothing but set up light screen and die. It's such a pain to train too, man. Shout out to CVB because we did XD Gale of Darkness playthrough. You guys should watch this on the channel if you know it's like that sort of thing. But two ways I buff Ledian, right? And this is without giving it a Mega. Certain Pokemon need Megas, certain Pokemon need evolutions. Taking away some of its special attack, which it has for no reason at base 55, because I mean, it doesn't really abuse it very well. Like, it has moves, but it has better physical moves, and I'm putting that into its attack, and I'm making its attack base 50, and you're like, dude, base 50? That's absolutely nothing, man. But did you not notice that I gave it Pure Power over Iron Fist? I got rid of Iron Fist as an ability, and I gave it Pure Power. So you might still be thinking, dude, base 50 is still absolutely nothing, man. What's that going to do for it? Let me refer you to a Pokemon with base 50 attack that also has Pure Power, or Huge Power, rather. yeah, that's this. So I'll give it huge power too. Why not? Why not? Its Pokemon attack is doubled. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. It's just, them boys, they're hard as hell, right? This Pokemon attack is doubled. It's the exact same thing. So pure power, right? Over Iron Fist. So that's one. So obviously that becomes a lot more. That makes Ledian a big threat. And by doing that, I don't have to buff any of its other stats. Because base 85 with pure power is like the fastest, you know, pure power, huge power Pokemon we have besides Mega Medicham. It is the fastest when it comes to that, 295, right? Diggersby is slower. Regular Medicham is slower, right? Obviously Mawile is slower, Mega Mawile. And same thing with Azumarill. So it would make it very fast. And I give it pure power, and I don't even have to do anything for its moveset. Like, I know you guys know I'm gonna say close combat, but I don't have to give it close combat because it already learns Swords Dance, it already learns Knockoff, it already learns Drain Punch for recovery, and it can do massive damage with that. And then your last move could be Acrobatics, or it could be an Ice Punch, or it could be Thunder Punch. It could really be any Elemental Punch like that, or you can use U-Turn as well, or give it Leech Life in its arsenal if you really wanted to. But that's it. That's a decent Pokemon. That's a decent Pokemon at that. Plus, its Bug and Flying means I can, you know, take one Grassy Glide from Ledian. I mean, I'm stressing the fact that I said one because I'm 55 HP and 50 defense. But like, just imagine a little Choice Band, little Ledian just running around with U-Turn and Knockoff and shoot, give it close combat, right? Whatever. Voila. And just like doing some damage, right? You'd probably have to give it a better flying move, but physical, but you can't give it Brave Bird. And Acrobatics is what it basically has. That's you can't really do much else from there, right? It has Air Release too. I guess you could try and abuse that if you wanted to, but yeah, that's it. Makes Ledian a lot better. I think Ledian is one of the coolest looking Pokemon, and it's just a freaking, like, it's a ladybug. But it's so cool when it boxes. Like, what? Give it pure power. Get rid of that. Buff its attack a little bit. Take it from the special attack. You don't need it. All right, Ariados. Speaking of another cool Pokemon, my favorite Pokemon movie is Pokemon Heroes. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Anyway, I'll find it later. My favorite Pokemon movie is Pokemon Heroes. And I always thought Ariados was so cool in that, you know, the way it was running around and jumping from the boats and crawling on the walls and doing whatever it is. It needs a little bit of a buff, though. So, right here, we are going to buff its attack from base 90 to base 100. We're going to give it the Scolipede treatment. If you guys didn't know, Scolipede used to have way less attack. It was actually base 90 and then went to base 100. And before I got speed boost, obviously, too. And we're going to buff its speed from base 40 to base 60. And the reason why we're buffing it to base 40 to base 60 is because now I have a speed tier that can actually threaten, like, the neutral Pokemon like Tapu Fini and things like that. Whereas if I invested fully on Jolly, I'm not doing anything. But if I have base 60 speed, and again, just to show you an example of what base 60 hits, Breloom's not in this tier, but oh, it's base 70. What is it? Is it Clef base 60? Clef is base 60, sorry. Yeah, I literally said the speed tier that's 240. So if I go 240, that will give Ariados again that neutral above like an unboosted Tapu Fini, above Clefable, because most Clefs don't ever run max speed. And even above Landorus, and on top of that, giving that base 100 attack, it already has a pretty good move pool, right? Like, it has Swords Dance, it already has Sucker Punch. That's why I'm thinking it should have Knockoff, because it already, like, look at the dark moves it has. It learns Foul Play, it learns Hone Claws, all right? It learns Night Slash, it learns Throat Chop, like, bro, and it learns Sucker Punch. Like, you're teasing it. Just stop dangling Knockoff over it and give it to it already, right? So that would also, that speed tier would also make it a better support mon with Toxic Spikes and Toxic Thread, which is such a really cool move that a lot of people don't know about. But isn't it Toxic Thread? Where is it? What is it? Maybe I named it wrong. I swear I had. Where is it? Is it not in this? Oh, because this is, let me put it in National Dex. So let's say, why is it not here? Like, I know it's not a move that nobody knows about because it doesn't exist. No, the Toxic Thread lowers the target speed by 1 and poisons it. That's such a cool thing. And being able to actually do that with a faster Pokemon and, you know, threatening with like a Mega Horn or a Knockoff or anything, like this thing would be so cool with support. And just also just annoying offensively, right? It's so close to being cool. And again, Stomping Tantrum, like, bro, I'll be faster than support Heatran and stuff like that. It runs a little bit of speed for Landorus or something like that. Yeah, dude, give me that. Man, give me, bro, I'd run. Bro, you got Swords Dance. I got Stomping Tantrum right here because I'm stomping these Heatrans. And I got Mega Horn. You actually don't need Mega Horn if you're doing this. You could get away with Poison Jab as well, like it's like this. So, yeah, buff Ariados, man. It's cool. Alright, so as you see right here, Lanturn, I said buff ability, and you can see the ability is Illuminate. I'm trying to make Illuminate like Compound Eyes, right? If I could see, I can fight. If you know where that's from, let me know down below. But yeah, Illuminate has currently 0 competitive use. It even says no competitive use with a period. Thank you for telling me so aggressively. But if they buff Illuminate to make it like Compound Eyes, so the Pokemon has higher accuracy, because again, if you could see where you're going, you can land your attacks, then there's not really too much of a buff that Lanturn needs to be able to make use of this ability. And then you can just buff its special attack to base 80, but you really don't need to. Like, I'm not going to buff the rest of its stats if this Pokemon is going for raw Thunders, Blizzards, and Hydro Pumps. Now, by buffing Illuminate, I'm also making Starmie stronger too. And Starmie is another Pokemon that could actually use the move Gravity and would use Thunder, Blizzard, and Hydro Pump if it really wanted to, or even Zap Cannon. But imagine just being able to raw do that. And the thing about Starmie is it already has 2 other great abilities anyway, Natural Cure and Analytic. But yeah, so I'd buff Illuminate, because then you could use like offensive specs, Lanturn, and throw off strong attacks, right? Thunder, Blizzard, Hydro Pump. That 76 base special attack is going to sound really strong when your attacks are all super strong. And then you just run Volt Switch as your last move. But that's the main thing I do for Lanturn, that I would buff it without like, and it also just buff Illuminate as an ability, period. So let's actually look at the, let's look at National Dex real quick, and let's look at Illuminate to see who else is buff. I know there's not a lot of Pokemon with this. Yeah, Wachog, who the hell cares about that Pokemon? That's another one that needs buffs or just gets thrown out, right? For more low, it doesn't really matter, but the big one is just Starmie that it really matters for. And obviously the Lanturn. I guess Volbeat technically, because Tail Glow. And then it does get Thunder, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, so you could do like a Thunder Tail Glow thing. Imagine this thing actually being real. I thought it said Focus Blast for a second. I was like, there's no way this model learns Focus Blast. I know if it learned Focus Blast, but yeah. Alright, so I love Ampharos. Big fan of Fabio. The first one, base 60 speed, is the big one. Again, just giving it that neutral, that thing that's above like defensive Tapu Finis, that thing that's above defensive Lanners, which technically can go above defensive Lanners right now, but I think base 60 speed would be the base 60 speed will be the thing that kind of just makes it just better. Again, to show you that it's Clefable, because it also means that at neutral I still had a pretty decent speed tier, and I want to give it Surf. Now, when I remember Ampharos or Fabio, I remember it from the Lanturn, and then there's like, oh, it's 2-6, so it can't light the way. Well, if it's around the water a lot, and you know, maybe it'll adapt. You know, maybe it'll start swimming, bro. I don't know if I feel like sheep can't swim, but I don't care. This is Pokemon, okay? If Rhydon can swim, if Raikou can Scald, Ampharos can Surf. And the reason I want to give it Surf is because it doesn't really need much else in its arsenal, right? It already has Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, it has Focus Blast, and when it Mega Evolves, it has Dragon Pulse. So give it Surf as well, especially because there's no hidden power. Give me Surf. Give me that nice neutral. And with base 115 special attack and base 60 speed, which is not a lot, right? You take 5 out of its attack stat, which it's never even using, and you put it there at that 60. It makes a difference for it being able to just like faster than like Adamant Bisharp type of things too, right? So like I love that speed tier for it, and I would love it to get Surf. Give it a little thing. All right, Sudowoodo. First things first. Base 110 attack. It's currently base 100. Take out 10 from its special attack. Put it into its attack. Base 110 will make a difference in turn of damage. Now this Pokemon has the ability Rockhead, and Rockhead means when you go for recoil moves, you take no damage. And it also has really good recoil moves, right? It currently gets Head Smash, and it currently gets Wood Hammer. So pretty cool. It also learns Fire Punch. Now, if it has Fire Punch, just give it Flare Blitz. The main reason I think it should get Flare Blitz is, and you know, trees are set on fire, right? But this one seems to have no problem because it has Fire Punch with it. If it's going to actually be on fire and it has Rockhead, just give it that strong buff, man. This Pokemon, you got to make it different than Aggron, right? It's too close to Aggron right now because it's Head Smash with Rockhead. Aggron's that, on top of being faster, on top of having that Steel typing as well. So this Mon has cool moves with Head Smash and Wood Hammer, and then you have Earthquake, obviously, and you have Sucker Punch too. Sucker Punch is the thing that has over Aggron, but and I love that like Sucker Punch and Wood Hammer go with it being a fake tree. Like, oh yeah, you sucker, you fell for it. Oh no, yeah, I'm a fake tree, I can use Wood Hammer. Just give it Flare Blitz, man. And that base 110 attack Gonna hit really hard, bro. I use Sudowoodo in OEO. You don't even need that much speed, bro. I literally go max speed, max attack adamant with that, right? I'm faster than Clef, I'm faster than Hippo. I can punish so much with this, and Flare Blitz is nice, man, because it doesn't miss, bro. And fire is always good offensive typing. So, love it. It's not Power Fire, right? But I just think it should have that, man. Personally. Espeon. Very little buff, it doesn't really need much. It's an Eevee, so I'm not trying to buff all the Eevee stats, but I could make a video where, let me know if you want to see a video where I talk about how we could fix all Eevees in a way and how to rework stats. It'd probably take me a little bit longer to bring out just because I want to really sit down and like run some numbers and stuff like that. But Mystical Fire, that's all Espeon needs. Has Calm Mind, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam. It just needs something to hit Steel types. If the other Fairy / Psychic types got it, why not Espeon, right? Just give it Mystical Fire. Just give it that way to be able to hit Steel. There's no more Hidden Power Fire. Can't run Hidden Power Ground. It still gets walled by quite a few Pokemon, right? Most Dark types, unless they're 4 times weak to that Dazzling Gleam, are not being 2 KO by it or O-Code by it, right? And Heatran doesn't care as well in Orchards, but it would still give it that viability. And on top of that, it does have Magic Bounce, right? Which we already know about, which bounces back hazards. So give it a way of threatening something like Ferrothorn now. So give it Mystical Fire. I'm also a big fan of Espeon. I think it's like, I think Espeon and Jolteon are like those Pokemon, and even Umbreon are those Pokemon that like people use on a low ladder, and they're like low ladder heroes depending on the where. Umbreon again, not a big buff, but Parting Shot I think would be really cool. I used Parting Shot Umbreon in I think an OM of the month. Which is like a fake metagame, and I really liked it. I liked the ability to pass my wishes safer. So it would still be Wish, Protect, Parting Shot, and Foul Play. And this would not break Umbreon because you have to. It'd still be killable. First off, it has to heal itself or heal its partner. And on top of that, it doesn't synchronize well with Foul Play, right? Because if you're weakening their stats, then your Foul Play is weaker as well. But you even have the 4-move slot syndrome where, okay, am I giving this up, or am I giving up Heal Bell, or am I giving up Toxic? Which Umbreon wants to have both Wish, Protect, Foul Play, Heal Bell, and Toxic, right? It always wants 5 moves, but it can't get it. So Parting Shot makes it something different, makes it be able to pivot, a defensive pivot, which I really like with Parting Shot, because there's not a lot of defensive Pokemon that pivot with Parting Shot. Parting Shot, I know there's Obstagoon and Linoon and Incineroar, which doesn't use it a lot, right? Morpeko doesn't really use it. Persian used to use it quite a bit. But that's about it. And then the Silvally. So there's not like too many defensive Pokemon that could do it, that can actually like sustain themselves. And Umbreon is one of them, so I like that. Why? What did I put here? More speed and attack. Okay, cool. Why is Girafarig not part Dark? Isn't it like it's Tail Evil? Like, just give it part Dark type, right? So I would make it Psychic Dark. And again, I'm not evolving it, but it could evolve if it wanted to be this way. I'm just making it. And there's 2 things I would give it. I would give it Swords Dance if it was Psychic Dark, and I'd give it Dark Pulse. Now, Swords Dance would be really nice with Psychic Dark because it already has Crunch in its arsenal, and it also already has Sucker Punch, so it already has the Dark stat it needs. And it also has Psychic Fangs, so it has the Psychic, and it has Earthquake, right? So it already has the 3 coverage moves it needs: Psychic, Dark, and Ground. That's all it really needs to be decent. And then Dark Pulse would be there too for the special attack because it does have Nasty Plot, and you can use Nasty Plot, Psychic Dark Pulse, or Psyshock Dark Pulse, and then your last move could be like Thunderbolt or something like that. Like that would be, or Energy Ball type of thing. That would be it. But I would also give it a little bit more speed. I would buff its speed to base 95, or even base 95. I think it would be the speed tier that I like. I want something that's just above. What was the Pokemon that came to mind? It was Drill. I want something that's above Drill. But also that can basically speed top with Tapu Lele, so it actually is something that, you go for Psychic, I'm going to punish you for it type of thing. But I would also buff its attack from base 80 to base like even 90 type of thing. So I would take 10 from its defense and 10 from its special defense and put it in its speed and its attack. So it's still 90 on its offensives. So it's not anything crazy, but because it has Swords Dance and because it has Nasty Plot already, well, because I'm giving it Swords Dance and because it already has Nasty Plot, it can really take advantage of that. So obviously it's not very defensive. And if you just evolve it, you're making it bulkier and that. Look what I wrote for this guy. Bro, there's nothing that can save Dunsparce except for evolving. And when it evolves, it needs to be Dragon and Flying. Like, forgo the normal typing. It already tries to fly all it needs. It needs to be Dragon Fly. I'm telling you, it's full-on Dragonite status type of thing, right? Just a funny story about Dunsparce. When I was playing in Fire Red, Leaf Green, I had a Dunsparce, and I was a little bit dumb. And I thought Dunsparce evolved into Ligar So I leveled up my Dunsparce level 99 and never evolved, and I got mad. But I don't know why I thought this, because I was like, I could use the internet at that time. Like, hey, I've had Dunsparce before. I think I did the exact same thing in gold. Or was it someone traded me a Dunsparce? Maybe I thought I couldn't evolve because it was traded. But yeah, I'd make it a Dragon Flying. Dunsparce also looks like it should evolve into Drampa, but I definitely make it Dragon Flying. And this would be a pretty cool Dragon Flying type because it can use Coil and it can Calm Mind, which is significantly different than most Dragon Flying types. And I'll show you. Dragon, and then we filter with Flying. Alright, so Dragonite can't Coil, Dragonite can't Calm Mind. None of these guys can Calm Mind. Can Altar Calm Mind? No way. We need to use that. So yeah, like a Dragon Flying that can both Coil and that can Calm Mind. I mean, let me just put Calm Mind so I'm not... Doesn't exist, yep. And I'll put Coil as well, just so you guys show. Doesn't exist. So a Dragon Flying type that can Coil and Calm Mind. And it already has Air Slash, right? It already has its Air Slash stab. It has insane coverage because it's a normal type in both its special attack and its attack. Like, it has insane coverage. So I would love it to be like a mixed Dragon Flying. It doesn't have to be very fast, right? It can go like base 55 speed, but obviously making it bulkier. It already has base 100 HP, and just giving it a typing that can actually do something, man. They got to do something. I'm fairly confident. Well, I feel like if they evolved Stantler, Dunsparce might be next, man. Like, Dunsparce might. Speaking of Stantler's not on this list because it evolves already, so I'm not giving it that. We already got its buff. But yeah, Granbull, two things I'd do. I'd change its quick feed ability to Guts, and then obviously you can use Flame War with that, so that'd be pretty cool. So it'd be a Guts physical fairy type, and it has base 120 attack already, right? And this would be really cool because it already has Play Rough. It already has Earthquake, which is, you know, for the steals. It also has Close Combat for the flying steals. And then it's like Fire Punch and Ice Fangs, Elemental Punches, Low Kick. Like, it has what it needs. And I give it base 60 speed as well. I'm always going for that base 60 speed because that speed tier, it shifts the metagame. And you might be thinking, oh, well, if everything is going to be base 60 speed, Heatran will just run more speed. Yes. You know what happens if Heatran runs more speed? It has to run less special defense, which it shifts the damage it can take. Lele is one step closer to knocking it out with 2-3 psychics after Stealth Rock type of thing. So it really shifts the metagame and makes people think. So I love to do things that will influence other Pokemon that are better and force them to step up to be able to deal with it. And even that, man, a Guts boosted Play Rough coming off of 120 attack, you can even run Facade, just because it's not Stab, but it's still 140 base power. Like always, right? It's literally closer than Earthquake. It's literally stronger than Earthquake and Close Combat if they're not super effective, right? And obviously Play Rough is just always good either way. But it's wild. Like, it's so freaking strong, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So I think that it would make it better. It's just all about make it better. I mean, it's stronger than, I'm pretty sure it's stronger than Play Rough too, right? 90 times 1.5 is 135. So yeah. Yeah, so this is 140. So yeah, it's like, if it's not super effective, it's its strongest move. It's wild, right? It's so cool. So, wait, did I put Stab? Oh, I didn't put Stab in that. Never mind, Player, I forgot to put Stab. Wait, no, that is me putting Stab. And then Guts comes into the attack stat after. So yes. It's stronger. Maybe I'm dumb. It's late and I'm tired. I'm sorry. All right, Qwilfish. Whoa. I'd evolve Qwilfish. And I want to make it a little bit different, right? So I'd get rid of its Swift Swim ability, which is obviously, like, I want to make Qwilfish unique. I love Qwilfish. I love it on a Swift Swim. I love it, like, Swords Dance and Poison Jab and things like that. I'm going to make it a little bit more unique. I want its evolution to really focus on the defensive of Qwilfish, right? When Qwilfish first got Intimidate, which is really cool, you'd be able to be using an Intimidate Pain Split set, and I like that a lot. And it only has base 85 defense, and it's still, I've used it in draft, I've used it in tournament games too, and things like that. It's just good. It's just absolutely good. So I'd evolve Qwilfish, keep its Water Poison, make it probably a bigger defensive fish, and even slow it down a little bit from base 85 to maybe base 70, and just buff its special defense and its defense a little bit more, and even its HP quite a bit more, and give it Rough Skin over the Swift Swim. So basically it'd have full defensive abilities. Poison Point, well, okay, technically, I think that these abilities have to stay the same when they evolve, and only the hidden ability changes, but I don't give a damn. This is my video. So I'm getting rid of Swift Swim, and I'm giving it Rough Skin for when it evolves, and then they still have Intimidate potentially as an ability, or it'll only have Poison Point plus Rough Skin as its thing. Those are the only two abilities it can have. I don't care. But I would want it to be a little bit more, because Qwilfish is like more offensive than it is defensive. I would want its evolution to be a tank, right? It'd still be probably like base 100, just barely stronger, right? But its bulk would be insane. Its defenses would both be 85 or 90, and its HP would be up to base like 85 type of thing, right? So it would just be bulkier. It'd make a more presence, and being able to spike and T-spike and pain split and taunt and do all that stuff on a Pokemon with rough skin, love it. All right, so if Galarian Corsola can evolve into Corsola, why can't regular Corsola evolve into Corsola? I wasn't called envy when we were doing this. We were just laughing. But yeah, so we're evolving it into Corsola. This is regular Corsola. We're evolving it to Corsola. If Corsola is a more specially oriented offensive beast, and one that would also make this thing be able to run a Violet, which is pretty cool. Corsola is going to be more of a Pokemon that cares for you, so it's going to be a cleric type of thing. It's going to be a heal bell type of thing with recover and heal bell. It'll be very, very bulky on the defensive side because Corsola is very bulky on the special defensive side, so this one will be very bulky on the defensive side. Would not lose any of its special defense would stay the same at base 95, and HP would go up to base 80. So we're on Ace 80. Its defense would be equal to that of Corsola, which I think special defense, which I believe is either 115 or 130. 130 special defense. Yep, they would have 130 special defense, and it basically just swap all these. It would be, well, we could just literally take Corsola stats if we wanted to, but yeah, it'd be one. Let's just give it 145 defense, and give it none, and then 130 special defense. Forget it. Keep its HP the same, and just give it no offensive presence. But it'd be sitting there like a freaking Blissey. Nah, it wouldn't be as crazy as that. But I do think its defense would be around the 130 area, just because Water Rock isn't always the best defensive typing anyway. A lot of weaknesses, and but it'd be one of the better Water Rocks, right? Because you have Dreadnought, Caracosta, Barbarical type of thing. But defensively, it'd be a really cool one. Would shrug off still Landorus's hits even because it's so defensive, and being able to, and it has Natural Pure Armor Generator. Oh my god, like imagine this mod. Imagine this mod. Bro, Stall gonna have a field day. So I whip out the Grass Knot or Energy Ball on one of my random Pokemon. Alright. You know how Delibird is like the Christmas Pokemon and stuff like that? I wanted to evolve into like the Krampus Pokemon, so an evil Mega or Ghost type. So it'd be Ice Ghost, sort of like Frostlass. And the difference between this and Frostlass would be that it can Rapid Spin while spiking, which is something that Frostlass can't do. So it'd be an Ice Ghost offensive typing. You have Poltergeist, you have your I don't think this thing yeah, okay, you have your Triple Axle, awesome. So it'd be more physically based, it'd be stronger, and it'd have Hustle. So obviously you're already playing with fire if you still have Hustle and Triple Axle and Poltergeist. But still, you're playing with fire. It's not that much stronger. It's definitely fast though. It'd be around like base 90, 95, and its attack would be like around base like 75, 80, 85 type of thing, and it keep its Hustle ability. Yeah, it'd be sick. Like maybe be even more because it's a Mega, right? So it probably has an insane increase. Very fast, very that. And your only saving grace with this Pokemon is it has to have Hustle, and all your best moves, aka Triple Axle and Poltergeist, already can miss, so they can miss even more. But when you hit with that Mon, it's like using Bolt Beak from Dragazol, bro. That Mon doing some damage. But I really think it'd be cool, and you know, it keeps the Christmas theme. It just makes it evil. It's like, yo, I'm tired of being crap, man. These kids don't even want my present. They don't even believe in me. They just go to Amazon and order their presents. Like, what the hell are you doing? So, no. Not anymore. Not today, Krampus said. Kingdra. I've always thought that Kingdra was really good, and the fact that they give it liquidation, and I literally repeat this word for word, but the fact they give it liquidation now is really cool on the Dragon Dance physical sets. But I would give it Dragon Darts. It really looks like it just shoot out little darts, like little horsies. I mean, it's a freaking... have you ever seen a seahorse give birth at the aquarium? Them boys be spitting out some stuff from like their bellies or something, like the babies, the males. So I mean, there's no way it can't shoot out some little horsies from its nose, its snout, or whatever it is. So and yeah, there are some Pokemon I skipped, like Macargo and Ursaring and Ferret and Noctowl, and that's because I want you guys to buff them. Like some of them I just don't even want to touch. I do not. And obviously, when it comes to Heracross and Steelix, Pokemon like that, they already have Megas, so I'm not really going to buff them. They're also pretty decent for what they are. But Kingdra, just to make it better on the physical dragon side, you already have Liquidation, you have Waterfall, you have Dragon Dance. Just give it Dragon Darts. I think Dragon Darts will make a big difference in terms of... because otherwise, you have to lock yourself into Outrage. And that really sucks, man, in a fairy-ridden metagame. Dragon Darts would make it better offensively. Last but not least, got Miltank, the mascot. Now, I want to evolve this thing. Because it's already its own thing. I don't want to give it too much of a base stat increase. And while I was talking... We found this artwork. by Reyes, and you have Calf, which it evolves from into Miltank into Milady. Normal and Fairy, which I think is fair for Miltank. I like the normal Fairy. It'd be like the whole, it shows a Wigglytuff, but it'd be pretty cool. In terms of like Fairy type attacks where he has, it doesn't really have, but I think it has Play Rough. Yeah, that's Play Rough, so it'd be a physical normal Fairy type that can still be a Cleric, but it'd still be another offensive one alongside that. Its speed would stay roughly the same, but its attacks would buff a little bit, and its special defense would go up too. So it'd just be more well-rounded, and it still keeps the thick fat as well. So a Fairy that doesn't like a Fairy normal that has a thick fat, which is really nice because obviously you're also still immune to Ghost because you're that normal type as well, and you have that immunity to Dragon as well, and then you have thick fat, you have that resistance to both fire and ice. So, or if you have Sap Sipper still, because I'd still keep its abilities the same, I think. You have that immunity to grass. So I think it's just giving it so many buffs, and I love it. I love Miltank. But that's like the biggest thing, and I think the biggest thing we also get from that is a Violet Miltank in lower tiers. So, whew, base 105 defense, base 70 special defense, base 95 HP, and it's a Fastmon, dude. At that point, bro, just give it what it needs. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts? Let me know down below. I'm really interested to see, and yeah, I was very happy to make this video. Again, there's a lot of other Pokemon I could have included, but I didn't want to because, one, it'd be a super long list, but also, two, I love seeing how you guys go further with what I have to do. Like, let me know if you agree or disagree with certain things. There's some ones that are just really, in terms of stats, they're all just basic. You can come up with whatever you want for that. But like when they evolve, like freaking Dunsparce, damn it. I'll be all enjoy. I'll see you next up. Peace.